Second half, independent off-tube studio commentary from the conclusion of the group stage of the 2026 World Cup. It's the final two games, and we are in Arlington for Jordan 0, Argentina 2. Algeria 1, Austria 1 is just restarting. It's the other game in this group. And Argentina comfortably 2-0 up in this game, taking the lead through a very interesting free kick from Giovanni Lo Celso. The free kick itself was very good from Lo Celso. The behaviour of the goalkeeper in the Jordanian goal was slightly unusual, but that gave Argentina the lead. And then a penalty, a little bit of a question mark of whether it was a penalty. It was a kick to the head, but the Senesi was very low down. But the penalty was awarded after a VAR check from Szczerbakowicz, and the penalty dispatched by Lautaro Martinez. And so Argentina go into the second half 2-0 up. There were some moments towards the end of that first half where Jordan was starting to show a little bit more promise going forward, but it's going to be a really tough task, an uphill battle here for Jamal Salami's side to really make any kind of inroads in this second half now that Argentina have this comfortable lead. But it's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and Luke Ashurst. Luke, it's going to be Argentina just ticking over you, we imagine.
Yeah, quite possibly. The hope would be from a neutral point of view that similar to the first half, you've got a few players who are trying to play themselves sort of into Scaloni's thinking going into the knockout stage, and maybe also as well try and get some goals for their countries, of course you always want to do. So we'll just see how it plays out. I don't think it was a bad first half. It was probably as we expected, with a few more mishaps from a couple of players. I have to say, Abu Laila certainly gave us a decent bit of entertainment, didn't he, with the first goal from the free kick. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think ultimately what we are going to get is very similar to the first half.
It certainly will be, and certainly from the neutral point of view, if Jordan were able to get a quick goal, that would then frustrate Argentina and perhaps force them to be a little bit more attack-minded. So certainly from the neutrals' point of view, we would like to see that. And as I say, there were some good moments for Jordan in that first half. I was impressed with the way they actually came back from the hydration break and made a bit more of an effort.
Yeah, they did. It was particularly after the second goal, which is ironic given that was the second goal that was probably taking them out of the game, that saw sort of the response from the Asian side. So let's hope that they can continue that response after the half-time and with the double change as well.
Absolutely. You mentioned the double change. Musa Al-Tamari and Mahmoud Al-Mahdi come on to replace Alizea and Al-Fakhouri. So it's two changes up front. So they obviously want to make some more progress going forward.
Yeah, and rightly so, because Argentina are there to be got up. We've seen they've been a little bit suspect at the back already. Wow,
that's a great ball played through. Is he offside? The flag stays down for now, but he's been run too far wide anyway. Is there going to be a late flag? He plays it back into the middle. There is a goal. Is the flag going to go up now? Yes, it is. Not really sure why we needed to see a second phase of that attack before the ball hit the net, before we finally see the offside. Martinez still asking the question if they're definitely sure there's an offside. We'll have a look as this ball is played through the middle. Yeah, his shoulder has gone, and he's definitely offside. Yeah,
more frustration. I spoke about it in the first game, didn't I? We're seeing so many offsides in this tournament, and we're seeing so many offsides from players looking across the line as well. That's really poor from Lautaro Martinez. He should be a lot better than that.
Needs to do a lot better there. As I say, it's important to be that have that match sharpness in every game. There should be a free kick to Jordan there. A bit of a clumsy challenge on that left-hand side for Argentina from Nicolas Tagliafico. So that will give Jordan a free kick, which has been taken quickly here by Al Rishdan, and then rolled back towards Yazan Al Arab. It's Al Arab again, just being closed down here by Lautaro Martinez. Finds a pass through towards Haddad, and then it's all the way down this right-hand side. It's going to be a free kick. No, the referee. I thought it was going to be one of those where shoulder to shoulder and the attacking player gets the benefit of the doubt. But our Romanian official, Mr. Kovac, says no, that will be a free kick. Bit of it too much in the back there in the end.
Yeah, there was. In fact, I'm not sure there was too much contact on the shoulder at all. He just get a little bit lucky, Tagliafico, but yeah, a bit of an overzealous challenge and good decision from the referee.
It's been taken quickly here by Argentina. They've moved the ball up towards the halfway line, but again, just things slowing down. Meanwhile, we're going to get an official offside replay for that last move. And yeah, it just goes to show that the camera angle's deceptive, because to us it looked like it was his shoulder that's offside, but now we see it's pretty much all of his body.
Yeah, again, goes way too early, leaning far too much across the line. It's really poor from Lautaro Martinez, who I don't think has ever really been quite the player on the international stage as he has been for Inter Milan over the last, half a decade or so.
I think it's difficult as well because Argentina don't really need to have that focal point up front, do they? They've got the link man just behind who pretty much takes care of all of it himself in Lionel Messi, but of course he can't play forever. I think he's probably more realistic about his future career, unlike his adversary Ronaldo, who has actually said over the last few days that he hasn't ruled out being fit enough to play at the next World Cup.
He might not. He might be fit enough, but there's one thing being able to, jog around the pitch for 90 minutes. There's another thing being able to contribute at a World Cup. I get the feeling the next Portugal manager is probably not going to have the same sentiments as Ronaldo himself.
Yeah, we'll have to, as I say, he's had an incredible career, and of course he will be in the knockout stages with Portugal advancing. But now Argentina win the ball high up the field. Lo Celso threads the ball in. Martinez is about to pull the trigger. That's some great last-ditch defending there inside the Jordanian penalty area. And it was Mohamed Abu Taha, the left-sided midfielder there, sliding in, just making sure that Martinez couldn't get a shot away and goal. Now he gets the ball back here on the left-hand side as Abu Taha. His pass forward is quickly blocked off now by Palacios. But Palacios' ball forward is blocked by Abu Dahab. And this is a bit better now for Jordan, because the ball through the middle does actually find Olwan. And Olwan's into the penalty area, plays that ball across. It's skied over the bar. Musa Al-Tamari off the bench and into the top row of the stands.
Yeah, that was high. That was really quite high. I mean, it's poor again from Argentina along the back. They've struggled with direct balls all tournament, it has to be said. And well, the cutback's not bad, but the technique, everything you tell youngsters not to do when striking a football, he's done exactly that. Really, really poor from Al-Tamari.
Yeah, so we see the Group J table live. Argentina top with 9, as things stand, of course, with the current results, and then Austria second with 4. Algeria also third with 4. Those Algeria will be going through as one of the better third place sides as it stands. Of course, it's not guaranteed that Austria will stay in second. Of course, depends on what happens in that game, which is available on our service. As a throw on here to Argentina in the attacking third, but the ball's been lost at the edge of the area here by Alvarez. He's not quite got into the game. We've seen a bit more of Lautaro Martinez, but Alvarez has been a bit anonymous for long spells in this game.
Yeah, he has been. But he's playing in a front two and basically being asked to do the dropping deep and get involved in the midfield part of that front two. And it's not really quite his game, I think, at times. I think maybe it's one of those where you ask two players to play up front, and on paper it sounds great. Martinez, a natural goal scorer, loves running in behind, loves running at defences. Alvarez, really happy to get on the ball. And then it comes to actually playing that way, and it just doesn't quite merge as well as you'd like.
No, it doesn't. And I think it's a difficult one, this for Scaloni, because of course you do need to have those out and out forwards, but whether or not he wants to give Alvarez a full game to sort of get into some sort of rhythm, or whether he decides after an hour that Alvarez is just not going to be his 9, it's better to get another forward a chance to at least get some match sharpness. Ball now played back towards the edge of the Argentina penalty area. It was Simeone's ball through the middle, and now Lo Celso's got so much space ahead of him. Lo Celso getting all the way to the edge of the area. Supports here on the right hand side. It's Martinez that goes for goal, and he's lifted that one over the bar. But that's what he likes to do. He's a right footer. He likes to come in from the left hand side from a very deep position. That wasn't too far away at all.
I think that's hit the crossbar. I think that may have skimmed the woodwork. We'll see from the angle from behind. It's dipping, and it dips dramatically. And it does hit the woodwork. He's not far away at all. Lautaro Martinez, that's a great effort from distance and showing a bit of quality there.
It certainly was, but that's a bit of quality there from Jordan to get the ball through the middle. It was Sal Rabadei who managed to just get his body out of the way, and it allowed the ball to go forward. And now Olwan on the left-hand side. He's had a couple of good moments, but again his pass into the middle just doesn't quite reach Rabadei, and then it's cleared back into midfield out for a throw to Jordan on the left-hand side. But they're well supported this evening.
Yeah, they certainly are. Really, really great to see. We spoke earlier on, didn't we, about really great to see that there's been a large contingent for every single side. Even, we've had 3 nations who have broken the record for smallest nations at a World Cup, in terms of Cape Verde, in terms of Curacao, and in terms of Haiti, and yet all 3 teams have had really strong contingents.
Absolutely. I mean, Curaçao's total population is comparable to a large British town, really. I mean, it's 100,000 people. The city we're in right now has got a population multiple times higher than that. It really is incredible for them. But in the meantime, we'll break off of that, because Jordan has got a chance to score, and they get a goal back. It was a quick ball over from the right-hand side, swept into the back of the net by Musa Al-Tamari, and those Jordanian fans in Arlington will be absolutely loving that.
What a great moment for Jordanian football that is. And I tell you what, it's not a half-back goal either. It said Argentina are there to be got at, and it's a lovely move over on the far side to open up the space. And then as the ball comes into the penalty area, Al-Tamari does brilliantly well to find the space and tap in. He's onside, It's really poor from Argentina. It really is. And we said, from a neutral point of view, what are we looking at? We're looking at some players to turn up and say, look, I can be trusted in the knockout phases. They can't. They really can't. And that is a really great moment for Jordan and for the substitute, Musa Altamari.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jamal Salami will be absolutely delighted as well, because it's actually his two substitutes that have linked up. It's Al-Mahdi that played the ball out towards the right-hand side. It was then played in, and it was Altamari that finished. Now, as we were getting ready we were just about to tell you about a potential substitution for Argentina, then Jordan got their goal in the game. But Lionel Messi in the 56th minute is stripped off and ready to come on. And really, I mean, would you want to risk a hamstring for Lionel Messi? I mean, he's one of these players doesn't seem to pick up these small injuries and these niggles, but even so, it seems like a risk to me.
It does, but maybe Scaloni's making a point to some of these players and saying, this has just not been good enough. I'm having to do it. Either that, or Messi's been in the ear of his mate and says, look, I'm in the race for the Golden Boot here. I've seen Ousmane Dembele score a hat-trick against Norway. I've seen Mbappe score bags of goals in the opening 2 games of his tournament. I've got 5 already. Come on, let me get another couple more against a weaker opponent, and let me open up a bit of breathing space going into the knockouts.
That's certainly what he's been would have been asking there, Lionel Messi, and it looks like his wish has been answered. That we're going to see him on the field next time the ball goes out of play. Argentina, in the meantime, they're going forward. Of course, they'll be very frustrated at conceding that goal, so that might just sharpen them up a little bit in front of goal. It's with Julian Alvarez. He might be getting ready to be substituted here, but he plays the ball over towards the right-hand side. It's Palacios towards Simeone. Back to Palacios. Under a bit of pressure, they're going back towards the halfway line here for Otamendi. Argentina again just finding that Jordan are really starting to crowd their half of the field. They're making it just a little bit more difficult. We saw this in spells in the first half where Jordan, after the hydration break, came back with a little bit more of a spring in the step, and it seems like the goal has done that as well. They just seem to be that little bit more compact now.
Yeah, they do, and I think this is sensible. You know, Argentina straight away are going to get back on the front foot and trying to cancel out that goal, so they've got to settle in and you know, really switch on. Just to say that, by the way, Austria have taken the lead against Algeria, so third goal in a game that we thought was destined for 0-0.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like Austria are now cementing their second spot in that group. But just as I say that, Argentina have lost the ball in midfield. It's another poor pass, and there's a great chance here that the ball forward, though, is optimistic. Putting it mildly. Al-Rashdan's ball forward. No chance of really getting on the end of that one was Haddad. It's now back in midfield here with Lo Celso. Sosa playing in towards Alvarez, but Alvarez, as he turned, he played it straight into trouble. And it's now back into Jordanian possession here down the right-hand side with Eshan Haddad. Now through the middle towards Altamari, but he's been blocked, and it looks like it was Sabitzer that got the goal for Austria, but unlike his teammate Arnautovic, Sabitzer was actually celebrating that one.
Yeah, and rightly so. You should always celebrate goals at a World Cup. They, obviously don't come around often. They're a huge moment for a player.
Here come Argentina now down the left-hand side with Alvarez, plays it towards Lo Celso, takes it down on the chest and back towards Paredes. Square now, and Palacios into the penalty area, strike coming in, and the ball goes wide. There is an Argentina player down just at the edge of the area as well, and it looks like it's Lo Celso.
Yeah, he looks in quite a bit of discomfort as well. The Real Betis man slamming the hold of the floor while he holds on to his heel. It didn't look like there was too strong of a challenge that was put in on him, so I'm not entirely sure where this much discomfort has come for the Argentinian. We've also not seen a replay of the challenge. I think we're going to see it now. I mean, there's nothing in that at all. There's absolutely nothing in that. I cannot believe he's hit the deck like that. There's barely any contact in the slightest.
It's a strange one, that, isn't it? Because what would he actually? I mean, I say obviously Argentina are 2-1 up, and Lo Celso is hobbling quite badly there. It looks like he's one of the players who's going to be substituted anyway.
Well, say he's hobbling. He'll hobble for a couple of steps. He's now walking absolutely fine alongside the referee and is berating him. Yeah, absolutely baffling. The ref's got a great view of it. I'm so confused by that. That's a dive, basically.
Yeah,
that is a dive.
Yeah.
He's been hooked for it as well. Good.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that he had the nerve to then complain to the referee as well. I mean, we're so impressed with Lo Celso for that goal he scored in the first half, but less so for the descent there. So he is off, and Thiago Almada is on to replace him.
Yeah, Nice moment for Thiago Almada, the 25-year-old. Plays his football with Atletico Madrid, of course, in Spain. Just his 17th appearance for Argentina. He barely featured in the World Cup winning campaign, but of course got a medal in 2022. Started the last couple of games against Austria and Algeria, and on he comes. And of course, on comes Lionel Messi as well, the man who everyone came to see. On he comes for Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah, and that is actually one of 3 substitutions here for Argentina. There might have been a slight late change of mind there from Scaloni. He's made a 3rd change as well. Nicolas Paz, who perhaps has just flattered to deceive a little bit this evening, he's gone off the field, and he's been replaced by Liverpool's Alexis McAllister.
Yeah, who's looked pretty impressive, I would argue, in this tournament so far. Big fan of Alexis McAllister. He's a really clever midfielder. Had a difficult season with Liverpool, as many did at Anfield. I said time and time again, he wasn't fully fit throughout the season, but we're seeing the best of him back in an Argentina shirt at this World Cup.
We are in Argentina now, losing the ball at the edge of the Jordanian penalty area. It's cleared up towards the halfway line, but covering there was Leandro Paredes. Really getting close to him, so he's now got the freedom of that midfield just to keep a bit of possession. It goes square over towards Alexis McAllister. It's his first touch of the ball. Back in towards Paredes, about 40 yards from goal. Messi gets his first touch, and Argentina on the attack now with Almada at the edge of the area. Back to Messi, just at the edge of the D. Tries to get a ball over towards the left-hand side for Tagliafico, but that one's been cleared back into midfield. But it's a logical move, this, from Scaloni, because he immediately just creates that little bit of a buffer as well. Opposition players are always going to be that little bit more wary of Messi, which potentially opens it up for other players.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like you say, I'd hate playing against Messi. I'd hate playing against the best player in history. But you're absolutely right. It just strikes fear into players' eyes, doesn't it? As Algeria made it 2-2 in that game, and that looks like, that is a pretty neat goal from Algeria.
Yeah, it really is, and it's Riyad Mahrez with the goal there for Algeria. So we said that game might finish 0-0. It is actually 2-2. So I suppose in terms of the result, it's still going to be the same result, albeit both sides have actually managed to get a couple of goals. Ball over the top now is too close in the end towards goalkeeper Abulana, and he's able to roll this ball out now to Al Arab, who then plays a really poor ball out towards the right hand side. He just lifts that over the head of Eshan Haddad, out for a throw to Argentina. Still inside their own half, slowly but surely now moving this ball forward. It's almost like that goal for Jordan has just woken up Argentina a little bit in terms of making those changes, and they are trying to be that little bit more attack-minded as well. Ball played out towards the right-hand side. Simeone just back in towards Palacios. McAllister now with Paredes. Back to Alexis McAllister. Space over here on the left-hand side now for Tagliafico. Now ball towards the edge of the... Oh, that's a really bad challenge. Referee's going to allow play to go on. No, he's not. He's decided there's... can't give an advantage there with a really bad challenge there on Alexis McAllister.
Yeah, that's not a good tackle at all. A really late challenge. Argentina just too quick for the Jordanian midfield, and rightly so. Yellow card is going to be handed out to Al Arab, the centre-half. They're just knocking about too quickly. Quick 1-2 between Messi and McAllister. And yeah, Al Arab just absolutely flattens the Liverpool man. Not a good tackle.
No, and the referee had a perfect view of it as well. It's just, that's very late. I mean, that's I would say there's never going to be a red, but it's a strong yellow, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not great. I don't like tackles like that. I think Al Arab can pull out that. I really do. And I think when he sees that back again, he'll be disappointed with the way he's gone through Alexis McAllister, who it takes quite a bit to keep him down. He'll not be happy with that challenge.
No, he certainly won't be. And so he's managed to pick himself up now, but what's resulted, of course, is a free kick in an attacking position with Argentina's most famous number 10 standing over it now. So let's wait and see what Messi can do. It's quite a long way out, but it's certainly within Leo Messi's range. And Argentina have got a three-man wall just in front of the Jordanian wall. Messi waiting for the whistle, goes over the wall but also over the bar.
Yeah, shades of that free kick in the World Cup final against Germany in 2014. It's not really in shooting position, but it's Messi, so you feel like he's going to go for it, and he's probably gotten that a hell of a lot closer than many other players would who are much worse than him. So credit where credit's due for that, but Yeah, one of those where I think if it was anybody else but him, you're probably a bit frustrated he's taken the shot on.
Yes, I think you would be, and you'd say, well, it's never going to be a chance of getting it on target from there. As we can see, Jamal Salami still trying to get some further instructions out to his players, and he'll be very pleased to see that loose pass to Tagliafico is now out for a throw to Jordan.
Yeah, that's really poor from Paredes once again, who's really disappointed so far in this game. It has to be said. Expected an awful lot better from the Boca Juniors man, who has always been known as quite a technical, neat midfielder, but this evening he's just played as if he couldn't really be bothered, and that's been really, really disappointing.
Well, let's say if any player in a World Cup in any game, if they come across of having an attitude of not caring, well then something isn't right. As I say, whether it's an injury, whether it's a concern over fitness, but if it's just a case that they can't be bothered, well then obviously a manager has to address that very quickly, because if he won't, then the press and social media will be doing that to the player anyway.
Yeah, they will do. I really won't be shocked to see Paredes not start a game in the knockout phase. If we have a look towards Argentina's route towards the final, they're on the nicer side of the draw. They really are. They've got Cape Verde in the round of 32, followed by either Australia or Egypt. They'll then face one of 4 teams: Switzerland, Algeria, Colombia or Ghana. And then you're looking towards somebody like a Brazil, a Japan, and England, maybe an Ecuador or a Mexico, depending on how far they can take the momentum from the group stage. So, yeah, they are on I'd argue, the nicer side of the draw. It's a World Cup. Is there really a nice side of the draw? Probably not. But outside of England or Brazil, there's not really any of the traditional big sides on their side of the draw. When you look at the other side, you've got Germany, France, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain and Belgium, all that won't face each other at the earliest until the round of 16.
No, absolutely, and certainly looking at their first 2 games in the knockout phase, Cape Verde followed by the winner of Australia or Egypt. I say that with the greatest of respect to all those sides, because they've done it superbly well to be at the World Cup, but it would take quite a lot, I think, for Argentina to lose to any of those teams in a knockout game in the World Cup, so they'll feel very confident. And as I say, maybe it's not the end of the world for them that they've had a slightly flat performance this evening against Jordan, because if anything, it just gives the manager a little bit of an excuse to get at his players and say, actually, we've not been perfect in this group stage, so I want to see us get to perfection now as we're in the knockout stage.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think they were that great against Algeria, to be brutally honest. I know Messi gets a hat-trick, but I think 2 of the goals are errors from Zidane, and then on too many occasions, at least if you're Lionel Scaloni, I think that they're caught wide open and Algeria get them on the counter-attack. So look, I talk about the squad on paper being just as good as France's and them 2 being a level above, but in terms of performances, I don't think I've seen a team play at anywhere near the level that France have hit so far at this tournament. I really don't think I have. I'm in awe of Deschamps' side. I really am.
Is it a case that they've got a point to prove because they were so close and actually had that great chance in extra time to be world champions already?
I look at it and I go, when you're a team at an international tournament, you almost kind of have to be playing for something. Argentina in Qatar were playing for Messi. Let's get this World Cup for Messi. France are not just playing for one thing, but they're playing to avenge the World Cup last time out. They're playing for Mbappe, can he lead his side to a World Cup? They're playing for Deschamps, his last tournament as France manager, having taken them to a European Championship final, World Cup final, and lifted the World Cup with them. They're playing for so much, and I actually just look at the squad, and I just think so many of those players are the best players in the world in their position, or near enough, that it's just, I've never seen a team like it. I really haven't. Mbappe, I think, is probably the best player in the world. Dembele's just won the Ballon d'Or. Elise is the best player under the age of 25, I think, in my opinion. Doué and Barcola as left-wing options. Ryan Cherki coming off a fantastic season with Manchester City. Saliba's won the Premier League with Arsenal and got to the Champions League final. Upamecano's coming off of his best season at Bayern Munich. Jules Koundé's won La Liga with Barcelona. On the left-hand side of the defence, you've got Theo Hernandez, who we know, even though he's playing in Saudi Arabia, is still one of them, better left backs in the world, in a position where there's not really too much pressure on you. Tchouameni, Rabiot, Manu Kone, all the midfield options. I just don't think outside of Argentina there's a team who on paper has a squad where the options are so fruitful.
No, it's true, and I say the way that you went through that France team, it is very difficult to argue with them being absolutely nailed on favourites for this World Cup, and the fact that they've started off the group stage in such, blistering fashion, and the fact that Mbappe's getting all the goals, it does bode well for France and not so well for their prospective opponents. But we've had the hydration break now. We're at 70 minutes here in Arlington. It is Jordan 1, Argentina 2, and it will be Luke to take us through to full time.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. Thank you very much. It's been, I'd say, a fascinating game so far. Probably not quite as we expected, as we're going to see another change made by Lionel Scaloni now.
Barco.
Valentin Barco, I should say, sorry, ready to come on. I think he's set for Chelsea sooner rather than later, the Strasbourg man. On he comes to replace Gio Simeone, who was excellent in that first half, non-existent in the second half, and a nice moment for the former Brighton man, who's had a difficult time of things in his career. Made a move to Brighton where I think he thought he was going to really go on to flourish as a great option for the Seagulls, but never really managed to stake a claim for Fabian Hürzeler. Well, he gets to come on to play his first minutes in World Cup football. In fact, first minutes, I believe, in a major tournament for Argentina.
Yeah, that's true. But Barker getting his first moments. I mean, you mentioned the fact he couldn't quite make it work at Brighton. Brighton, of course, have had a lot of praise for the way that they can bring unearthed gems, but they haven't got, they haven't always got it right. Gyökeres couldn't quite make it work at Brighton. There've been a few other players as well. Undav, yeah, absolutely. He looked like he got the goal at Brighton, but they never really trusted him with regular starts, and he's gone on to be a very good goal scorer elsewhere.
Yeah, he certainly has. Really enjoying his time in the German national team at the minute. He's one of the leading scorers at this year's World Cup, which is great to see. I certainly thought he was going to set the world alight at Brighton, having scored a bag full of goals at Union Saint-Gilloise prior to his move to the south coast of England, but it hadn't worked out for him. Didn't work out for him at Brighton, but it certainly has at Stuttgart, as Argentina currently just knocking the ball from side to side, getting the ball moving. Patient play, trying to work Jordan around. Palacios under a bit of pressure on the near side from Almadi. Go back to Emi Martinez into midfield for Paredes, who eventually feeds McAllister. Barco now near side, wearing the number 8 shirt. Goes back into Alexis McAllister, who of course won the World Cup while a Brighton player. I'm pretty sure the only player to ever do so, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just trying to think if there is anybody else off the top of my head. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is the only player to win the World Cup as a Brighton player. I think there's all sorts of interesting stats like that of teams who have had World Cup winners on their books. Pretty sure Blackpool have had a World Cup winner on their books in '66, if I'm not mistaken. But again, could be wrong.
Yeah, but it's say over the years, certain teams sort of go rise and fall, and do get some surprising World Cup winners, of course, through the ages. But I think as we move into this current era, there's going to be fewer and fewer of them. It's all going to be mainly marquee players from marquee teams.
Yeah, you end up with somehow international super teams like Argentina, like France, like arguably Spain and Germany to a certain extent as well. You'll see, less and less of the smaller teams having players at the World Cup. Although, having said that, Brentford have got 3 players at the World Cup this year. Inigo, Thiago, Jordan Henderson, and I'm missing one. I'm pretty sure it's 3. It might just be 2.
I'm trying to think. There will be one more that's eluded me now as well. But that stat, of course, with Palace having more players at the World Cup than Madrid, and Spain having no Real Madrid players in their squad either.
And that's also as well without having Adam Wharton in the England squad, which who many thought was an absolute dead cert to be in Thomas Tuchel's squad. Sunderland as well, I'm pretty sure, have got more players at the World Cup than Real Madrid, which is also quite the stat. Hey, Thiago Almada though for Argentina in the midfield third for the World Champions, trying to feed Messi. He's challenged well though down this near side by Abu Taha, and Jordan can get clear.
Yeah, just that point about Brentford is 4 players in total. One of them is on his way back, though. Hickey is already on his way back with Scotland, and it's Christopher Ayer at Norway as well.
Who's been very impressive so far. Norway really, really shocked me as to how well they've taken to the World Cup, having not featured at a World Cup in 28 years. That's almost a good bit of play there from Olwan down this near side, lofted ball towards him, but eventually Argentina do well to force Jordan all the way back towards the halfway line. Here it is with Nassib. Ball over onto the far side for Haddad. Haddad back to Nassib once more. Slow, patient play this from the Jordanians. I have to say, you know, it was always going to be a difficult game for them on paper. It was always going to be a difficult group to really do anything in for Jordan. But from what I've seen this evening, they've actually done very, very well. They've got a plan. You know, I know they came through it in the end, but we were watching the Democratic Republic of Congo earlier, weren't we? And one of the big criticism was there wasn't a plan. They didn't know how to score a goal. You can see what the plan is for Jordan. It's to get the ball out wide and cause issues for fullbacks and cross the ball in. They've already scored a goal through doing that, but we're just not seeing quite enough quality from them.
No, absolutely not. And we're just seeing... Quite sure why we're being shown at this particular start now, because that substitution was made about 15 minutes ago. But there is actually going to be a change here for Jordan now, with Jamous coming on, and he's going to be replacing Al-Rashdan.
Yeah, change in midfield. Amir Jamous on, he comes, as the free kick was given away by Thiago Almada. It's number 6 on for the 21. I didn't think Al-Rashdan did too badly, but clearly... change is needed, according to Jamal Salami, and on comes Jamous as an option. As I'm pretty sure he's just drifted straight into the penalty area for this free kick, which I think will be floated in by Almadi. By the looks of things, it will be the number 13 who floats it towards the back post. That's a great header away inside the penalty area by Nicolas Tagliafico. And Senesi will further clear down. Senesi will clear it down the line for Almada. He had the ball taken away from him. Yes, he has over on the far side. Eventually, though, it's won back well by the Atletico Madrid man. And here's Alexis McAllister. Ball forward into Julian Alvarez. Further forward now for Valentin Barco. Has the overlapping run of Palacios. He uses the Leverkusen man. Quick 1-2 between himself and Barco. Now Alexis McAllister, 45 yards away from goal. Will feed Palacios once more down the near side. Thought about swinging a right-footed ball into the penalty area, but instead we'll go back to McAllister, and Argentina will slow things down once more with 76.5 minutes on the clock. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary, Jordan 1, Argentina 2, in Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. It's interesting that the game has been played in Arlington, Texas, yet it's the home of the Dallas Cowboys, Dallas, Texas, of course. You mentioned it earlier, it's just the weird way that American sports work. Half the teams don't actually play in the cities that they represent.
No, it's sometimes a location just outside. It's sometimes, obviously, the way that the American franchise system works, you'll have teams that have played in different parts of the country that have ended up playing somewhere, and then they end up settling there as well. As I say, in terms of the LA Dodgers, used to be the Brooklyn Dodgers. That's probably one of the more prominent ones you think of, certainly in baseball. But we could see some Jordanian fans. I'm impressed with the numbers here this evening. It just goes to show how devoted these fans are to see their team. But I think overall, this game, we were a little bit worried it was going to be slow. Now it has really slowed down, but overall it probably has been a little bit better than we were expecting.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say. It's not been a thriller minute, but not many of the final group stage games have been, to be fair. I was very, very lucky to cover the Norway-Senegal game. That wasn't even one of the last group stage games. I'll break off because here comes Thiago Almada driving forward, trying to feed Lionel Messi. Here's now Alvarez, lays it off to Barco. Messi once more turns away from his man, hauled down on the edge of the penalty area. That's going to be a free kick to Argentina. It was Jamous, it was, with his first action trying to bring Messi down. You can tell it's 20 to 5 in the morning here in the UK, because I'm completely forgetting whether Norway-Senegal was the final group stage game or not. It wasn't, because Norway were battered by France in their final group stage game. But that was a thoroughly entertaining game. Senegal have just about made it through, I'm pretty sure, as one of the best third-place teams, but they left it late, to say the least, and not convincing at all.
There's not convincing at all. But saying that, they will fancy their chances against Belgium, and they play the winners of USA Bosnia.
Well, I was going to say, we're talking about not convincing. Senegal not convincing, Belgium hardly convincing themselves. Once again, coming to a major tournament and arguably disappointing.
It's the golden generation, dare I say, almost creeping into the antique generation for Belgium now. Really,
I think that's fair to say. There's not very much of the golden generation left. I think you'd probably say there's De Bruyne and Lukaku and maybe Thomas Meunier as well. I know Axel Witsel's still in the squad, but he doesn't really play too much. Rudy Garcia's side is Messi for the free kick. Oh, yes! That's what they paid the money to see. Leo Messi with another goal in this year's World Cup. It's 6 for the little Argentinian. And it's 3-1 to Argentina with 10 minutes to go. That's arguably the best of the lot.
Arguably the best of the lot. I mean, he's one of the oldest players in the tournament. He's not actually a striker on paper, and yet despite that, he's already got 6 goals, and he's only played in 3 games, and he's not even played in 3 full games, and we've still got the entire knockout stage to go in this tournament. He could end up breaking a record in this competition.
Yeah, I mean, it will take some doing to beat Gilles Fontaine's record for most goals in a World Cup, but he's doing his best. Again, questions of the goalkeeper from a free kick. That's hardly in the corner from Leo Messi. Oh dear, it's rolled. That can't be more than a foot to his right hand, and he's not even moved to try and save it.
I don't know if he was away when they had set piece training or whatever, but he is very, very awkward in terms of how he positions himself for free kicks. The way he conceded the first one in the first half was bizarre, and there it's almost like he wrong-footed himself. He was stumbling over to the left and then carried on stumbling when he could see the ball was going. It was bizarre from the goalkeeper. It really was.
He just had to stick a leg out and he saves it, but he doesn't. And Messi becomes the first player to score in 7 consecutive FIFA World Cup matches. Of course, has scored in all 3 of the group games this year. Scored in the final and scored in the 3 games leading up to the final in Qatar as well. It's some record for the greatest player in football history, and like I said, I think Mbappe's the best player in the world. I think Mbappe is possibly even the closest we're going to get to Messi in quite some time, and I think many would agree there's streets between Messi and Mbappe. I'll bring Paul in a second because Barco chipping a ball forward towards Messi, that's cut out, but Almada from distance deflected and wide of the post, out of play for a corner. I thought, has that not taken a deflection?
I thought it must have got a deflection there, surely, but it says, referee says no, and it's just going to be a goal kick. And in the meantime, we are going to see Julian Alvarez going off. He's not had a good game this evening, and he's going to be replaced here by Lopez. He's going to be Lopez to come and replace him.
Yeah, Jose Manuel Lopez of Palmeiras, only making his 6th appearance for Argentina this evening. It's his first appearance for Argentina at a major tournament. Nice moment for him, the 25-year-old. Pretty decent goal scorer for Palmeiras. 25 goals in 64 appearances in all competitions in 2025. Already has the 14 goals and 10 assists in 35 appearances this year for the Brazilian club. So a nice moment for him to get to come on as well at a World Cup. And on he comes for Alvarez, who, you're right, hasn't had a great game this evening, but I think it's fair to say that this system doesn't really play to his strengths, as we just see the top goal scorers at the World Cup. Messi was 6, already 2 ahead of Mbappe and Dembele.
Yeah, but Mbappe and Dembele, of course, have got 8 between them, so it's certainly no hardship for Didier Deschamps to have those 2 gentlemen in great form.
No, certainly not. They've got 4, I would say, the 4 best attackers in the world, all in one front line of France. It's just, barring maybe Erling Haaland, there's nothing more you can add to that French front four.
Absolutely, and you think of sort of Michael Elise is almost the young and experienced one out of the 4 of them, and you think how brilliant he's been over the last season.
I'm left in awe of Michael Elise every single time I see him. I really am. Yeah, Bayern Munich, rightly so, have said on a number of times this summer, despite links to Real Madrid, he's not for sale and never will be for sale. And yeah, he will go on to break record after record after record. Reminder, of course, that there is another game currently being played in Group J, along with ours. It's currently Algeria 2, Austria 2. That point enough to see both sides through to the round of 32 at this year's World Cup. And what a start to the World Cup it has been for pretty much everybody. I think it's been thoroughly enjoyable so far, and I'm really looking forward to the knockout stages, which of course start, I was going to say tomorrow, but it's technically this evening, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Mexico and South Africa.
Absolutely, it's UK time. It will be 8 o'clock this evening, Sunday evening. That's when the knockout stage gets underway, and in earnest from tomorrow. And it comes around very quickly. The World Cup. I'll break off from that because Jordan have won the ball high up the field.
Yeah, they have. Here it is with Altamari. Tries to feed the overlapping run there of I think it was Haddad driving forward, and in the end play breaks down as Tagliafico gets hold of the ball and is then caught from behind, so free kick given. There was a lot of people, obviously with the extended World Cup, more teams were going to get through to the knockout rounds, and I thought I did see there were a number of people that were concerned that people were just going to play for 3 points and call it a day once they got those 3 points. But it is really interesting to see that all bar one of the best third place teams are going to go through on 4 points, and a number of those teams have had to really work for those 4 points as well. I look towards Ecuador, Ghana, Sweden as well, another one of those teams. They've really had to do an awful lot for those 4 points, and the only team that have gone through on 3 points is Senegal. And of the teams that are on 3 points, I would say they are probably the most deserving. I was really disappointed with South Korea in their 3 group stage games. I feel for Iran, but they probably didn't quite have the quality to make it through, although maybe given their situation, did they deserve to go through? Quite possibly. Scotland were really poor, and Uruguay didn't even get 3 points in the end.
No, I mean Uruguay. It's all kicking off there.
It's a mess, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, Marcelo Bielsa having a go at the journalist and saying that it's all down to him. He's made himself unpopular forever in Uruguay by taking off their legendary goalkeeper Muslera at half-time as well, and a number of marquee players unhappy with him. But yeah, it's just these things can happen. Tournaments unravel. Of course, Sabri Lamouchi lost his job as Tunisia manager after just 1 game. But in the meantime, Argentina have pushed forward. They're on the attack now at the edge. There a strike coming in. It just threads wide of the goal in the end. They're appealing for a corner, and it's been given.
Yeah, Lopez, it was searching for it. It would have been his first ever goal for his country, and it was indeed deflected by the captain Haddad, and that'll be a corner to be taken over on the far side by Lionel Messi. It looks as though now we can probably confidently say what the knockout stage is going to look like, with the game between Algeria and Austria heading towards its climax, still deadlocked at 2-2. Austria set up a tie against Spain in the next round, while Algeria will face Switzerland. There are some really interesting ties that I think are going to be really fascinating in the round of 32, which I'll mention in a second. But at the moment, it's a corner to concentrate on Messi. Ball floated towards an near post, but out of play well in the end by Nassib. And another corner to be taken, I believe, by Argentina. I thought maybe a free kick had been given, but it hasn't. And indeed, Messi will get another bite at the cherry. Left-footed in swinger over on the far side. Messi floats this one in towards the near post. He's been headed behind for another corner. A third attempt for Messi to try and beat the front man on Argentina's right. Waiting for another ball to be thrown back to him, as he'll take this one short to Barco. Back to Messi once more. Corner of the penalty area, will loft one towards the far side. Almada back to Palacios, and he'll go all the way back to Emi Martinez, who will take a touch and get Argentina moving once more. But if you have a look towards the knockout phase, Paul, the round of 32, and some of the ties that we're going to get to see, I think Brazil-Japan is my pick of the bunch. But in a similar part of the draw, you've also got Cote d'Ivoire versus Norway. What's been given here? Is that a free kick given to Argentina?
I think it's Van Kovac is trying to work this out himself. As this week, the ball is played across.
Well, it's a foul for Argentina, surely. That looks like Abu Dahad cuts across Barco and wipes him out. And I think that's what's been given.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what's been given. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game on Monday. I'll be that's the my game in the round of 32 that I'll be doing at 6 p.m. UK time is Brazil against Japan.
That'll be a real treat.
And so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be my third Japan game at this tournament. So I've been treated to how they've been playing, and they have impressed me very much. So.
Absolutely. Just we're going to have a bit of a stoppage here while Abdi Dahad receives some treatment. I'll look at some of the other games. Mexico, Ecuador in Mexico City at the Azteca is going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to France, Sweden. The Netherlands, Morocco as well should be great. A little bit of a niche one that I think could really be quite interesting. The USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. Obviously, USA at home, but they faltered out of the group. Were unable to go 3 from 3 in a game against Turkey, who'd really struggled. And then actually, very, very impressed with Bosnia. They're a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Bosnia have looked good in this tournament. They've had a bit of a shaky start, but they've come back. Well, we actually need the stretcher on for the injured Jordanian player. The confirmation now that he has been replaced. Abu Dahab couldn't carry on. Let's hope it doesn't take too long to get him off the field as well.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see at all for Abu Dahab. This is a really unfortunate situation for him. He's going to be replaced by the number 17, Salim Obaid. And then there was another change being made as well. About to see the introduction of Mohamed Abu Zariq. And now on he comes for Ali Olwan, who was impressive in that first half, not been really involved in the second half, but not how you want to see this game end, is it really?
No, it's not, and it does frustrate me. I do think sometimes the physios and the medical staff need to be a little bit quicker here as well. As I say, once they decided he can't get up, just get the stretcher on. It always seems to be a little bit lethargic in football, and as I say, they've finally been able to get him off the field. And let's make sure that they take the shortest route off there as well, so that we can resume play here. We've still got a few minutes to play.
Yeah, we do. This game, I hate to say it, dragging just that little bit. Final group stage game of this World Cup. We of course hope that it's nothing too serious for Abu Dahad, as he is stretchered off, but on comes his replacement Abeid, as does Abu Drake as well. There's an opportunity now for Argentina once more with this free kick to be swung in by Lionel Messi. 5 minutes added on at the end of the second half, by the way, as Messi floats this one in towards the 6-yard box. That's been put over the crossbar by Nikos Otamendi, charging in to challenge for the ball, and a goal kick for Abu Laila to take. Still 2-2 in the other game between Algeria and Austria. It'll be Austria who finished second, Algeria to finish third, although some would argue that it's probably a better result for Algeria, that one, as they'll face Switzerland in the round of 32 rather than Spain. But, it's the World Cup. Anybody can beat anybody. And to be honest with you, I think both teams, particularly Algeria, will just be happy to get through.
They certainly will be, but I mean, Switzerland are very much a comfortable tournament outfit. They tend to make it to tournaments and often get out of the group, and that's never going to be an easy game for a side like Algeria.
No, certainly not. Both Algeria and Austria playing in their first World Cup in quite some time. Austria even longer than Algeria, if memory serves me right. So they'll be really happy to have gotten through in second in what could have been a potentially really tricky group. They did really well against Jordan to push them aside. They're getting a draw tonight against Algeria, and they were a little bit disappointing against Argentina, but under the brightest of lights, many teams can falter, and they did a little bit as long ball sent forward. That's a good one for Altamari, who's brought the ball down not once but twice, and Argentina get away with it just as McAllister gives the ball away. But Palacios is there to mop up. Barco now under a bit of pressure, running back towards his own byline. He's playing for a free kick there, Valentin Barco. Got no idea where he's going. He's not been fouled there, and rightly so. I think the referee has pointed to a corner, has he? Or is he actually given the free kick the way of Argentina? No, he's done brilliantly well as our goalkeeper, Istvan Kovac, to give a corner rather than a free kick. That from Valentin Barco is really poor.
It really is, and he's got to do better there as well. I mean, he's come off the bench, and even though the game is comfortable now for his side, he still can't allow it for such an easy loss of possession there.
No, he certainly can't. Corner to be swung in now by Al-Mahdi on this near side, floated towards the back post. It's headed away well by Palacios. Still the chances there. This is gathered on the edge of the penalty area by Jamous. Jamous now will play it onto the near side for Abu Drake. Further wide now for Al-Mahdi. Al-Mahdi away from one, not away from two or three. That was a handball surely, yet the referee will stop it. He goes down there, having been challenged from behind by Valentin Barco, and as the ball hits his hand, he keeps it under control, and rightly so. The referee will blow for a free kick. I've just seen a replay of the Messi goal now from behind the strike. Again, it just gets worse every time you see it for Abu Laila, who I think probably knows where in his game he needs to work on now that Jordan are out of the World Cup.
Yes, I think so. I mean, he's had a nightmare with set pieces this evening, has the goalkeeper. Just not being able to position himself to win. And it is a huge thing, but in the meantime, late drama in the other game, Luke. Huge drama. Algeria have stolen it at the death. It is Algeria 3, Austria 2, and you might think, that just means that Austria will go through as a third place team. They won't. They will drop outside of the top 8. Iran are now going to go through as one of the best 8th-place teams. As one of the best third-place teams. What a story that is! I mean, we went into that game thinking it's just a draw. Break off. Valentin Barco's gone down, and Jordan are on the attack now. Now McAllister's been fouled, and it's getting a bit scrappy all of a sudden in midfield. We came into this one thinking they'll just play out a 0-0 draw. That's all the two teams need to go through. But no, Algeria have won it at the death to knock Austria out of the World Cup. And, it's an absolute mess for Ralf Rangnick's side. It's Mahrez with his second of the game.
I mean, what a story.
What a story when you think of Iran celebrating that because they scored a goal only to find out VAR had chalked it off in the dying seconds of that game, to go from that to then thinking that they've spent most of this evening out of the top 8, and now in the final 90 seconds of the group play they find themselves back in the top 8.
I can't believe it.
It's insane.
I really cannot
insane.
believe it. That is unbelievable. So it's Switzerland, Iran in the round of 32. Austria will not be playing in the knockout phase, and that is quite the shock late on in that game. It really is. Credit to Algeria.
Yeah, well,
you know what? They didn't need to go for that goal. To be honest, it probably suited them more to not go for the goal and play Switzerland in the next round. But Austria will be absolutely furious because they've been knocked out by a goal that in theory didn't need scoring. There's a full-time whistle has been blown in our game. Routine for Argentina. They're beating Jordan by 3-2. Messi, of course, coming off the bench to get a goal to add to Martinez's penalty, and Giovanni Lo Celso's free kick. Moussa Tamari with his goal. A nice touch for Jordan, but ultimately full time at the AT&T Stadium. It's finished Jordan 1, Argentina 3.